Hey everyone, it's Apache here and welcome back to another episode of FTB Beyond here on the CreedCraft server. This is episode 8 and today we're going to be having a look at some Britannia mana automation. We're going to be using explosives, which is going to be good fun to do, and we're going to have a look at some of the mechanics behind Britannia as well. But first of all, I wanted to talk to you about kind of the future of this series and what's going to be happening, because I've come to a bit of a sticky position, I suppose. I'm not too sure what I want to do with this pack and how I actually want this progression to go ahead. And so I just want to spend a couple of minutes first of all talking about what we could do and getting your opinion on stuff, basically. So this is stuff that I want you to put down in the comment section what you think about it and where you think we should go. So there's two different directions we could take this series really, and one is a very kind of slow progression and working through each different mods and trying not to get the end game stuff straight away. And the other position I'm in a position now, I have 279 Draconian Dust, I have 2 of these Dragon Hearts now, because I had to go back and get a screenshot, so I needed to kill another dragon to be able to get that. And so I've got 2 of these as well and 2 Dragon Eggs. And so I can actually push forwards into a lot of the late game stuff. And so what do you want to see me do is my essential question. Do you want to see me push forwards and kind of push through this pack quite fast? Because as soon as we get something like an environmental tech void miner, and you can say I've already started building up some of the hardened stone required for that. So as soon as we get into some of this stuff, then the game becomes a lot easier and a lot smoother and a lot faster. And you suddenly need this huge amount of storage and a huge amount of different things, but there's so much more you can do. But it can become very unmanageable, and it can be very easy to overlook some of the other mods in the pack. So for instance, there is Woot in this. If we have a look at Woot, actually click on the right thing, that would help. So there's this mob grinding thing essentially. It's a multi-block structure. I know QuitSquare has been looking at it. But if you use something like a void resource miner, then this becomes pretty much obsolete. There's a few things you can't get, like mob drops that you can't get, but they get overlooked. And so, do I want to use something like Woot, or do I want to go straight for the ore miner? And I'm really torn between the two. And I want your decision on it, essentially. I'm happy to go with what you guys want to see, essentially. As I said from the beginning, this is your series, and I'm happy to take this series where my viewers want me to take it. And so please give me your input down in the comment section of this video. I will prepare in 2 different ways for next episode. I'll continue gathering resources for some of the later game stuff, but also I'll work towards some of the mid-game stuff as well. As I think we're at that position now between early game and mid-game where we can choose one of 2 ways. We can storm through the mid-game and go straight for late game, or we can just carry on in the mid-game section for quite a long time. So that's it for the intro, and I will show you around a couple of the things I have done. I know you saw some of it in the time-lapse at the beginning of this video. Hope you enjoyed that. So, be right back. So as you can see, things have changed a little bit around here. I've taken out the ring here because in testing in my creative world, I couldn't get the right shape for the building. And I think that a 32 diameter was a little bit too big. So it made, even with a 60 tall block, it was only kind of twice as tall as it was wide. And so it looked a bit short and squat. And so I'm going to work out a better plan for a tower here as well. I've built a couple of things around here though in the interim, just to get a bit of resources. I found I was running very low on iron. And so I've created here a very simple iron golem spawner. And this uses the spawner from RF Tools, which is here and facing downwards. And so this uses a syringe full of iron golem blood, and so I had to spawn in a iron golem first, and then get his blood and then kill him off, and that's how I got that. And then all you need to do is pump in some iron, some dirt and some poppies into this, and it will actually spawn iron golems. And then down below they'll fall into this chamber. Down below we've got a diamond spike, and because that wasn't quite fast enough, I've just got a mechanical user here just hitting them. I haven't got any weapon in here at the moment, but you can definitely put any weapon you want in there. So I can put my sword in there and it will be a lot faster. I'll actually do that now for demonstration purposes. And so at the moment we can see in this here that for every golem that is spawned, you need 0.1 iron, 0.5 poppies and 6 dirt. And so you need a lot more dirt than you do anything else. And this has been kind of collecting stuff for a while, and you can see we've got a lot of golems worth of coal in there, of iron in there, and a lot of golems worth of poppies in there. All we don't have is the dirt, and I'll show you how it works now. And so when we put the dirt into this chest here, it's going to spawn a huge amount of golems in, and it's going to kill them fairly quickly now because I put the sword in. And I put a sound muffler here because it is loud. On the top here I've got an ender hopper from Dark Utilities, which just picks up the iron and the poppies that get dropped, puts them into this chest. In this matter beamer here, this is programmed, if we look at the conduit connector on the top, to insert poppies. This one here is to insert dirt, and then on this one I've put it as a manual to insert in the iron, because otherwise it will just pump in a load of iron into here and you won't actually get any in here. So now if we come into this small storage crates and actually put a load of dirt in, you will see these spawning. Because it's not a hugely fast system at the moment, so they'll spawn one by one, and I've got my ring of magnetization on. I'll take that off. And you can see they spawn and they die, and in here they will produce iron. And so it's a fairly fast system once you get it up and running, and the more speed upgrades you have in here, I've got one in there at the moment because they are, at the time they were quite expensive. I've got a lot more iron now. And so that is my iron spawner, my iron farm, my mini iron titan, I call it. And so in here now we've got nearly 1,500 iron, and so this has been working not actually that long. I put a load of dirt in there to start with, and then if you put a ton of dirt in and then put a load of iron in, do it that way round, you get mob cap in here, and they start squishing each other with the 1.10 entity cramming rules, so that kills them faster as well. And this was kind of almost half full with iron, but you can see even now while we've been talking we've got almost a stack of iron, and you can see the poppies get taken out into the system as well. So yeah, that's the iron spawner. Over here we've got a simple cobblestone generator. So behind we have the basic vanilla technique of a water block and a lava block, and that creates cobblestone in the middle. We've got a transfer node here with a mining upgrade. This doesn't actually need to be very fast. All it needs to do is pump in items into this faster than this can take it out. And so that's pretty much what we've got now. It's about even. So you can see as soon as it goes down, it goes up, and it's just ever so slightly higher. And then on the back here we have a closed circuit of item conduits, and these essentially take out, from here I've got cobblestone going in and gravel coming out, but I've also got flint coming out. And so the flint comes out the top here, and the gravel comes out of the back. But I've got this as a closed circuit because this has a chance, especially with the flint in here, of producing sand as well. And so the sand goes through this and into this barrel here. You can see it from the front. We've got a barrel here, and we've got a barrel here for the gravel. And then with sometimes, if the system clogs up, it puts sand into this sag mill, and so I've got one here with silicon just as overflow protection. And then on the top here I've got both of these set up as in and out as well, and this deals with the flux of a reagent of the flint. And so I've got this set exactly the same on both of them. Flint gets extracted, it's on round robin mode, and self-feed is enabled. And you can see on this one that is exactly the same. Flint, round robin enabled, and self-feed enabled. And so both of these will feed each other the flint, and once these are full on both of them, it will pump into here. So you can see we've got a lot of flint coming in as well. And this is going to be really handy because today we're going to be using TNT. And the two materials you need for TNT are sand and gunpowder. And if we have a look at gunpowder, got it on here, one of the ways to make it, you can do it through mob drops, obviously, with the creepers, through witches, through ghasts, and there is these catalysing glands from reliquary, which drop 6, and the Eye of a Storm from reliquary, which is from charged creepers, which converts to 10. However, there is also a way with Britannia, with one of these alchemy catalysts underneath a mana pool. You can turn flint into gunpowder, and so that is pretty much how we're going to be getting the gunpowder for the TNT, is by putting flint into the mana pool. And so long as there is a higher return on the amount of mana that the TNT gives us than it takes to actually convert this, and it is quite high if you look, then this will be a self-sustaining system. If not, then we may go to a mob drop farm. I think before we do actually start with the Britannia for today, I want to try and relocate this refined storage system. I've condensed it down to this now, but I want to relocate it into the eaves of my house over there. And so I'm going to just take all of this down, and just to save anything from being destroyed, I'm actually going to take the discs out of here instead of breaking them, breaking the disk drive with them in. Because I've seen on a couple of other playthroughs that by doing that you can actually lose the items sometimes. And so that is all of my refined system gone. I'm going to come over into my house here. You saw me making this bridge in the time lapse at the beginning. I think it's quite nice. It's a nice functional bridge actually, it doesn't need to be much more than that. And I've done a simple path down here to the main door as well. It just brings this building more in line with the rest of Spawn over there. It connects everything up. And so if we come in through the doors, you can see I've made a staircase going up into this room here. I have sorted something out with the lights, which I will get to today. I've decided what I'm going to do in here with the lighting on the floor. You can see with Optifine it creates this strange effect on the floor, which I think we can use to our benefit if I light up underneath the floor, and then that will show through the slabs. And so I've got another staircase here in exactly the same manner, and if we come up here into the eaves, there's some other things we can do playing around with lighting in here as well. I've created this fake wall at the back, and this is where we're going to put our refined storage system. And so I've got a little doorway in here, and I've got my flux controller set up, and I've got my power set up there already. And so I think I'm going to have this bit here for the grids. So the fluid grid there. We will have the crafting grid here, and the pattern grid next to it, and the crafting monitor just there. And so that'll be all for monitors that we need. Above the pattern grid here, no, in fact I think below the pattern grid maybe, I will have this processing pattern encoder. This may change, the layout of all of this is just to put it in for now. And then round the back here I've got a 3 block space to put stuff in, and so here I want the controller, which can go down there, and I'll put the wireless back on it. Now this is going to mean we're going to need a lot of these around to kind of spread out the wireless things that we need. And so one interesting thing about the processing pattern encoder, as you can see, none of these are on. It's not actually counted as part of a multi-block structure within our refined storage. It's a standalone thing. And so we're going to need the disk drive on top there. And as soon as that goes on, you can see these light up and we've got access to everything again. And so we're going to have the disk drive around the back here, and we're going to put everything back in. And then finally we have the crafter, and there's going to be a lot of these. And I want these to be kind of going up and up here. And on this side, I think we're going to turn this side into a big storage wall with storage controllers. And so I think for now I will put that again on here. That's facing down though. I think to do that I will actually use my, I think it's the Yeta wrench you can use to change things around. Yeah, so I want that facing forwards. And the last thing we need is on here, you can see this is draining power, it's flashing red. So it's almost about to run out, and now it has run out. It can't actually give these any more power. They're still on for now, but they're fast draining. And so if we put this onto the side there, flux point, and put it onto the main power, you can see this comes straight back online. So it's gaining power now, and we have access to everything. I did put the ranged upgrades in, so I need these out. Don't need them, don't need that or that. And so we can put these back into the wireless transmitter. I only got 2 of them. Range, get that one and that one. And I want my wireless back. Put those into there. And so now we have, I need to reconfigure this. So anytime you move a crafting grid or move the system, you need to reconfigure the wireless crafting grid. So shift and right click on there, and now we have access to everything again. And so I want to test the range of this, see how far we can actually move away. And so we have access to it essentially on this island outside here. So that's okay, it's not too bad. And do we have access to it where we will be working today? That's the question. Because today we're going to be over here. And so this is the spot I have worked out for the for Britannia stuff. I think it's quite a nice little grove area, especially once we build an orchard up over it. And you can see this block I've taken out here is the first corner I want to work on. And that is because this is on a chunk boundary. And so I want all the gubbins of this, all the workings of it to be inside one chunk. So it makes it so that we don't get chunk loading issues or chunk unloading issues. And so that is the first kind of working square we have to use. And I'm going to try and keep everything within this one chunk here. So you can see the boundaries of that once we're inside it. And that should be absolutely fine for what we want to do. Any of the aesthetic stuff can actually be outside into these 3 chunks here. That's no problem at all. It's just the workings and the machinery that we need. I've just had a look on the time on this video. I've been waffling on quite a lot, so let's just get on with it. The entropinium is what we're going to be using. And I'm just going to show you the recipe, and then I will gather up all the stuff needed, and I will kind of bring you back in for the making of kind of the final few of these. So we need mystical red petals, mystical grey petals, mystical white petals, a rune of fire, which I think we've already got, and a rune of wrath. Where is that again? Here, and the rune of wrath, which is a rune of winter and a rune of earth and 2 mana diamonds. Rune of earth is mana powder, mana steel ingot, stone, coal and mushroom, and the stone rune of winter is snow, wool, cake, rune of water, rune of earth. So there's a fair bit of kind of nesting to do on here. So I'm going to get through all of that and I'll bring you back in once it is done. Okay, I'm just making up the last of the runes of wrath now, so we can get this. And then we have everything we need to complete the final 2 of these entrepreneurs. And so I've got the petal apothecary set up here. And if I put that there, we can fill this up. I've been doing all this manually just to make it a bit quicker really. And we put that one in, that one twice. This one twice, and this one twice. And then 1 seed. And that comes back. And now it's a bit easier because we can right click on there, puts everything in, and we just put one of these in. Now this took a lot longer than I thought it would because I didn't realise that it would actually use the runes. You don't get the runes back like you do with the runic altar. So we've got the last of these entrepreneurs now, and over here I've set up a little platform with, and you can see how many I've made of them already and the setup here. So I'll just put these ones in and I'll walk you through what I've done. So they go on there. Okay, so we have 4 mana pools in the middle here, and this is what's going to collect the mana. We have 8 mana spreaders around the edge, and if I get the Wand of the Forest, you'll be able to see that these 2 here are going into this pool, and so on and so forth. There's 2 mana spreaders for each pool. And these living rocks here are where the TNT is going to go. The next stage is to get some of the refined storage stuff set up. So let me get that and I will be back with you. We're going to set up our first sub-network here. So first of all we're going to need a network card. And I should have everything for what I need. I'm in the wrong one here. Crafting grid, that one's better. So if we get a network card, first of all, and then we need the network, where are they? Network transmitter and a network receiver. And we're going to need some cables as well. So we'll do refined, whoops. Where are we? Okay, so we've got cables. And we're also going to need these constructors that I've made up as well. So we'll grab those out. Is there anything else we'll need? We'll come back for it if we do. So we can get some of this set up over in this area over here. Underneath the ground here I have created a nice wide open space here which actually goes into a cave, which through that wall there goes underneath our base as well. So that's really nice and handy for networking and stuff, and it opens it all up. So we're going to put down the network receiver in here, and I'm going to right click on it with the network card, and you can see this is now linked to that location. We're also going to put the constructors. I've put the living rock up here so that we can place the constructors on, like that and that, and we're going to link them together with some cable. At the back of all the machines here I'm going to place down the network transmitter like that. No, not like that. I will put it on top there, and in here we need to add in this network card, and so you can see it's 76 blocks away and that should be transmitting fine. So I've got a recipe set up here for TNT. I'm going to put that into a pattern here and place that pattern into our crafter. So you can see if I press shift you can see the icon of it there. And I'm going to need some crafting upgrades as well. So that is these things, and we need a solderer for that. So it's a crafting table, a redstone, and an upgrade. So we'll see if we've got any upgrades. Okay, so we've now got the crafting upgrades, and I've got some other stuff in here that we're going to need as well. So we'll head over to this area and we will get everything set up. The living rock is where the TNT is going to go. And so for the timing mechanism, I'm going to use these hovering hourglasses over the top. And I'm not going to actually put the sand in them yet. We'll do that last of all, and I'm going to try and stagger them so that they're not all going off at the same time. The whole system is about redundancy. That's why I've created so many of these. And so down here, I'm going to, in each one of these, going to say it needs TNT to go out, and it needs a crafting upgrade in it. So I'll do that on each of these. And that's everything we need for down here. Now I'm going to go back up above, and I'm going to set up a very simple mechanism for generating this, the gunpowder from the flint. I'm just going to use this one, and I'm going to put a hopper on top there, and then take this dirt out. I'm going to put a chest on top of that hopper, and an ender hopper on top of there, and so that should gather in all of the gunpowder. It should change to gunpowder fast enough for this to work. It won't gather the flint because this will change it fast enough. Okay, I'm going to need a couple more things, so I'm just going to go and grab those. We're going to need one of these alchemy catalysts that I've made up to actually convert the flint into gunpowder, and I need to remember which one I put it under. So it is this one here, which is that one there. So if that goes underneath the mana pool, we'll go back up the top and you should see the difference between this mana pool here and the rest of them. This has got kind of glowing on it, which means this is it's kind of infused one. And so now when we put this flint in, it will drop out onto the mana pool, but we need to actually get things kicked off first. And so I'm going to knock out these living rocks, and this will actually put TNT in its place. Just like that. And the other thing I'm going to need is a way to get this gunpowder back into the refined storage. And so I'm actually going to knock out this plant here and dig down just this little bit here. I'm going to put a cable in to there, if I can get it. I'll put it in there and bring it up to there, and then I can put an exporter onto here, and on this exporter I can say that I want to items, and is there a blacklist on here? No, I will have to make some TNT first, sorry, make some gunpowder first, and then we can export it into the system. So all that's left to do now is put some sand into these. I'm going to put it on a 20-second timer and hope that it doesn't all blow up. So here we go. That's on a 20-second timer there, and I'm going to leave it a couple of seconds before I put them in to the other ones, just to stagger the timings a bit. And there we go. And if we wait now, we should see this will blow that up. Nothing blows up, and all of these start. At the moment I haven't got these configured to a specific mana spreader, and so whichever mana spreader is least full will actually take the mana. And so now that they are starting to fill up, I'll wait until this has got some mana in it, and then I'll come back to you so you can see the collection. Okay, although it is actually quite slow at the moment, it is actually working. So I've changed this out for a automatic precision dropper, and I realised that it was an importer I needed rather than an exporter. So you can see it's actually generating its own. At the moment it's not got enough mana in the system to generate enough of the gunpowder quick enough. So it does need some work. I might actually look at Woot for next episode, so we can actually generate more gunpowder, so we can kind of kickstart this much better. So we can get a stockpile of the gunpowder first. I think that'll be a lot better than just trying to use this on its own. But the proof of a concept works, and I quite like how compact it is. This is going to generate us a lot of mana once it is up and running. These do produce a huge amount of mana per plant. So, and I've future-proofed it. I've got a huge amount more plants than I really need here. And once we start upgrading the mana spreaders and everything, it'll become a lot faster. We can actually reduce the time these hourglasses take. So yeah, that's everything with this for now. Okay, so that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe on the video and to the channel, and I will see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me by subscribing to the channel and liking and commenting on the videos. Thanks. See you next time.